everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're diving straight into something really game-changing for anyone running projects. We're looking at the fascinating intersection of artificial intelligence and project management.
Yeah, it's a huge topic right now.
Absolutely. And our mission here, well, it's to unpack how AI, especially generative AI or GenAI, isn't just tweaking things, it's fundamentally shaping the future. You know, how projects get run, how project managers actually work. We're pulling insights from a really comprehensive source that focuses right on this, trying to give you that informed shortcut.
That's absolutely right. And, the impact of AI, it isn't some far-off thing.
Right.
It's already happening. It's well underway. And really all the signs point to it just continuing to grow.
Right.
There's some PMI research from their 2023 survey that's quite telling. About 21% of people they asked are already using AI always or often in project management.
Wow, 1 in 5 already.
Yeah. And looking ahead, 82% of senior leaders, they expect AI will have at least some impact on projects in their organizations. That's over the next 5 years. And what's even more striking, 91% think AI will have at least a moderate impact on the profession itself.
91%. That's almost everyone.
Almost everyone. And, get this, 58% are calling it major or even transformative.
Transformative. That's a big word.
It is. And this whole shift, it really picked up speed after OpenAI released ChatGPT back in November 2022. So yeah, this deep dive is really about exploring those opportunities and, frankly, understanding that AI fluency.
Yeah.
It's not just a nice-to-have skill anymore. It's rapidly becoming a non-negotiable part of a project manager's DNA.
It's just incredible how fast everything's moving. I mean, when you hear numbers like 82% anticipating impact, 58% calling it transformative, it almost sounds like, science fiction becoming reality overnight.
Yeah, it kind of does.
But, okay, does that level of anticipation, does it actually match the current reality on the ground? Are project managers genuinely prepared for this? Or is it more like we're all still playing catch-up?
That's exactly where the urgent need for upskilling really comes into sharp focus. There's some unpublished PMI customer experience research that indicates only about 20% of project managers say they have extensive or even good practical experience with AI tools.
Only 20%.
Yeah. And on the flip side, a significant 49%, almost half report, having little to no experience or understanding of AI in project management.
Wow. That's quite a gap.
It really highlights that gap, doesn't it, between the perceived impact and the actual current skill set. So project managers who are proactive, who stay ahead of these emerging technologies, who help drive AI adoption in their organizations, well, they're the ones who are really going to position themselves best for career success.
So it's about being proactive, not just reacting when it hits you.
It's exactly. Proactive, not reactive. So let's maybe explore how we actually start integrating AI into our daily project work.
Yes. Let's, because it's clearly, like you said, more than just simple automation, right? There's got to be a spectrum of how this tech can be used.
Exactly. To really leverage GenAI effectively, we need a kind of framework. We need to evaluate project tasks and deliverables along 2 key dimensions. The first one is the level of complexity. Is it low, medium, high?
Okay.
This considers things like how many variables are involved, how much specific business context do you need, does it require, specialized PM knowledge or deep experience?
Right, that context matters.
Hugely. And the second dimension is the degree of human intervention that's needed for the output you expect. And here's the really critical point. The more complex the task, well, the greater the need for human oversight, for refinement.
Makes sense. More complex, more human input needed.
Precisely. And within these 2 dimensions, GenAI can support tasks across a spectrum. It can automate, it can assist, and it can augment.
Okay. Automate, assist, augment. Let's dive into those 3 levels then. Can you walk us through automation first? What does that actually look like in, say, a project context?
Sure. Automation, that's for those low complexity tasks, the ones that typically need minimal human intervention in the final output. Think of it like this. Automation is kind of like your microwave meal, press a button, it's basically done.
Okay, good analogy.
So when GenAI takes over those repetitive things like generating standard reports, analyzing documents with different data types, summarizing meeting notes, doing calculations, it's not just about speed. It's about redeployment of your people.
Freeing them up.
Exactly. Your project managers get freed up. It unlocks hours for them to focus on the really strategic stuff, the human-centric challenges that, frankly, only they can tackle. You can create standard prompts for these tasks, use them across different projects, and generally you don't need a super experienced PM to check the results. Just a quick look over.
That sounds like a massive game changer for just reclaiming time. Okay, what about assisting? That sounds like it involves more collaboration with the human, right?
Exactly right. At the assisting level, GenAI isn't doing the whole job by itself. It's more like having a brilliant intern doing the heavy lifting for your first draft.
Okay.
The tools complement the project manager's analysis, or they provide initial drafts that an expert then reviews. The tool's results, they aren't considered final without that refinement, some testing, maybe some complementary analysis by the human.
So examples of that might be.
Things like creating a first draft of a cost-benefit
Yeah.
analysis, or maybe performing data analysis to help recommend a scope change, creating scheduling plans, performing risk analysis, that sort of thing. This approach, it likely needs, moderate intervention from an experienced project professional to make sure it's complete and accurate.
Okay, so we've got automating the simple stuff, assisting with the drafts and analysis, but then there's augmenting. That sounds like where GenAI really starts to amplify human capability, right?
Yeah.
How does this augmenting level take a project manager's work to a much higher, more strategic level?
Yeah, this is where it gets really
Yeah.
powerful. Augmenting is the most complex level. Here, GenAI enhances the human capabilities that are already there, and it can even help project professionals develop entirely new ones.
Oh, interesting. Developing new capabilities.
It assists with those highly complex strategic tasks that are often specific to an organization or a particular topic. Think about creating truly outstanding business cases for projects, or supporting really complex decision-making where there are tons of interdependencies and variables.
Right, they're really naughty problems.
It's exactly. Project professionals are still guiding and doing most of the work, but they leverage GenAI to gain insights, to perform specific, iterative tasks through multiple interactions with the tool. At this level, the individual's depth of experience, their knowledge about the business, about project management, that heavily influences the quality of the final outcomes. It's maybe like having a Michelin star chef as your sous chef. They bounce ideas off you, they elevate your dish to something you maybe couldn't have created entirely alone.
Great analogy again. So, okay, as you're listening to this, how are you thinking about using these different levels? Automate, assist, augment within your own projects. And crucially, what kind of oversight are you putting in place, especially as those tasks get more complex and, the stakes get higher?
That's a cute question.
Because once we figure out how to use it, the next big question naturally is, well, are we even ready? Do we have the right skills?
That's precisely it. Knowing the tools is one thing, absolutely. But having the skill set to truly harness them, that's another challenge entirely. And that's where something like the PMI Talent Triangle comes in really handy. It offers an excellent, pretty robust framework to guide this skill development journey.
The talent triangle, right?
Yeah, it's really the perfect way to think about building your GenAI skills for this new era we're entering. So the Talent Triangle, it breaks down the essential competencies into three main areas: ways of working, power skills, and business acumen.
Oh,
And what's important here is that GenAI can automate, assist, or augment capabilities across all three of these areas.
all three. Got it.
Let's start with ways of working. This dimension is all about adopting the best approaches, practices, techniques, tools. The how-to of successful project management. GenAI can significantly improve how these tasks get done.
Like what specifically?
We'll take project planning. GenAI can simplify data mining, analyzing historical project data for optimization. It can help generate comprehensive project documentation, across all the PMBO key guide knowledge areas. Or think about time and cost management. It can support estimation, help refine those estimates, assist with cost-benefit analysis, earned value analysis, even help identify mitigation actions if things go off track, like overruns or delays.
Very practical.
Yeah. And in risk management, it assists with identifying risks, analyzing them, providing general recommendations for mitigation or elimination, helping with risk planning and reports, and of course the obvious one, writing and reading assistance. It's widely used now to improve documents, emails, support communication tasks, generate code snippets, summarize meeting notes, lessons learned, even gain insights from, like unstructured data.
Okay, this sounds like an incredible productivity boost, absolutely. But let's be realistic for a second. For a project manager who's already stretched pretty thin, how much effort does it actually take to get these AI tools to deliver that level of performance, especially for the more complex stuff? And what's the kind of underlying foundation for all of this to even work well?
That's a really great question. And it brings us right to the critical role of data. Data literacy is absolutely fundamental because Well, there's this inherent relationship between data and AI, right? AI feeds on data.
Garbage in, garbage out, basically.
Exactly. So project managers need to understand their organization's data strategy, its practices, so they can properly evaluate the AI outputs and identify potential risks from using GenAI. This knowledge lets them shape the tools, shape the model specific to their projects so they get accurate predictions. They need to ensure they're getting reliable, context-aware results, not just, generic answers spat out by the machine.
Right. So, thinking about your own situation, how are you identifying tasks in your projects where AI could be integrated to deliver better performance? And, given how rapidly AI is being built into popular PM tools, are you proactively adopting these AI-powered features as they appear?
Good questions to ask. Okay, next up in the triangle, we have power skills.
The human side.
Precisely. These are those crucial interpersonal skills needed for transformation, for delivering results. Things like collaborative leadership, communication, problem solving, strategic thinking. Now, while AI can definitely augment these human traits, it's really vital to remember what it cannot do.
What it can't do. Yeah.
So for strategic thinking, GenAI knows the models, it's familiar with them, can help flesh out elements of a strategy, maybe reveal new connection points you hadn't considered. For improving collaboration, prompting GenAI early in a discussion can give a team a strong starting point. Maybe help them skip some of that initial, sometimes messy brainstorming and dive deeper faster.
Interesting point.
In problem solving, GenAI can do research, suggest hypotheses for specific parts of a problem. But, and this is key, it lacks that systemic view of your specific business context.
Yeah.
It doesn't understand the nuances like a human does.
Right. It doesn't know the internal politics or the history.
Exactly. And for communication, well, GenAI can streamline processes, maybe enhance stakeholder management by suggesting supporting data, automate simpler messages, help craft narratives for complex communications.
It really brings home the point, doesn't it? No algorithm can actually look someone in the eye during a tough negotiation.
Nope.
Or, offer that empathetic ear when a team member is struggling, that human touch. That's where the real magic still happens, I think.
Precisely. Couldn't agree more. Algorithms cannot look anyone in the eye. They can't speak truth to power in the same way a person can. They can't stay the ethical course based on values or be truly accountable for their decisions in that uniquely human sense. Project managers uniquely offer empathy, adaptability, creativity, especially for those counterintuitive solutions AI might miss. Decision-making and ambiguity, negotiation, stakeholder management, leadership, motivation. And it's important to remember, human factors are consistently cited as top causes of project failure. That just highlights how critical these power skills remain.
Absolutely critical. So as you integrate these powerful tools, how are you planning to strike that balance between the technology and the human ingenuity, leveraging the uniqueness of each project's specific context?
It's the balancing act we all need to figure out.
Okay.
Finally, we arrive at the third side of the triangle, business acumen. This refers to understanding the macro and micro influences in your organization, your industry, possessing that function-specific or domain-specific knowledge, making effective decisions, and crucially, aligning projects with the broader organizational strategy and even global trends. AI tools can significantly enhance business acumen. First, just by freeing up project managers from those time-consuming mundane tasks we talked about, that gives them more time to actually focus on strategic influences and relationships.
More headspace for strategy.
Exactly. And second, GenAI can augment a project manager's ability to see the strategic implications of their work. It can help them frame conversations with high-level stakeholders more effectively, help them make better, more informed decisions.
That seems like a true game changer for decision-making, definitely. But with AI augmenting strategic insights like that, how do we make sure project managers aren't just becoming, glorified prompt engineers? How do they still maintain that deep, nuanced human understanding of their organization's unique competitive edge?
That's a really critical point. The presence of GenAI, it might actually change what project managers need to deeply understand. For instance, general industry knowledge. Maybe that becomes less important to retain entirely in the human brain because it's so easily accessible via these tools.
Right, you can just ask the AI.
You can just ask. Instead, their true value becomes maybe hyper-specialized. Mastering the unique nuances, the specific competitive advantages, the intricate ways data can be leveraged within their own organization's ecosystem, the focus shifts, perhaps, to understanding what makes your organization special, how your company differentiates itself, how its data assets can be uniquely leveraged for advantage.
Interesting shift in focus. Less general knowledge, more deep internal understanding.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
So the questions for you become, How are you using GenAI to communicate strategic implications to your high-level stakeholders? Ensuring project goals really align with the bigger business objectives.
And maybe in industries or organizations where data is fragmented, kind of all over the place, what actions are being taken to ensure you even have access to quality data for GenAI to be effective?
Key considerations.
Okay, so we've covered a pretty comprehensive framework for skill development with the talent triangle. We've explored the how and the what of GenAI integration, automate, assist, augment. Now, let's get really practical. How can project professionals listening right now actually put GenAI to work for them? How can they build these skills in a structured way?
Right, let's make it actionable. We propose a sort of two-tiered approach. It can be customized, of course, to individual needs and goals. The first tier is about overall development, your personal development plan, if you like.
Yeah.
Here, you identify the enhanced skills you want to gain. Is it becoming more efficient in risk management? Adopting a more data-driven approach? What's it for you? Then you map out your learning needs regarding the AI tools and concepts themselves. Maybe you need a master prompt engineering, for example.
Right, learn how to talk to the AI effectively.
Exactly. And finally, you consider the expected benefits. What outcomes do you anticipate? Reduced time on non-strategic tasks, better decision quality. What's the payoff? So that's tier one, the overall plan.
Got it. Personal goals, learning needs, expected benefits.
Once you've mapped those broader learning objectives, the second tier focuses on project-level application. Here, project managers can customize, maybe create a simple table, to map their current project performance domains and deliverables to specific GenAI tools they could use.
Ah, mapping tools to actual tasks.
Precisely. For example, let's take the planning domain from project management. Consider tasks like scope definition. That's a ways of working skill. You could potentially use tools like ChatGPT-4, Bard, maybe Microsoft Copilot, or even diagramming tools like Show Me Diagrams
To do what specifically?
to help generate preliminary plans, perhaps refine scope descriptions based on inputs, analyze historical data for similar projects, maybe create initial diagrams, and the expected impact. Well, potentially faster execution, more productivity, maybe fewer errors in documentation, better overall documentation, and better use of historical data.
That's incredibly concrete.
Yeah.
Do you have any other examples for planning? This really gives a fantastic starting point for people.
Certainly. Still in planning, think about estimating effort, duration, and costs. Again, ways of working. You'd use tools like ChatGPT-4, Bard, or even Smartsheets AI features perhaps to help automate calculations, suggest schedule optimizations, generate integrated analysis across cost and time. Or developing a communication plan. That touches on power skills. You could use ChatGPT-4, Bard, MS Copilot to help understand stakeholder needs based on inputs, draft initial communication plans, maybe even analyze past project communication trends for potential omissions or improvements. The impact. Again, faster execution, maybe more comprehensive analysis than you do manually. Better use of historical data, better alignment with stakeholder needs.
Makes sense.
And one more, creating a business case. This falls under business acumen. You could use ChatGPT-4 or Bard to help define the business need more clearly, evaluate the industry context, maybe help prioritize initiatives based on criteria you provide, identify relevant market conditions, the expected impact. Faster execution of the case, more comprehensive analysis pulling from broader data, and ultimately better alignment with the actual business context.
This really gives you, the listener, a fantastic starting point for your own journey. So what is your learning strategy? What's your plan to quickly acquire the needed knowledge about these GenAI tools? How will you start experimenting with them, maybe in small ways first, within your projects and teams? And importantly, do you have a process to identify, test, and then scale the use cases that actually work within your projects?
Absolutely. And it's important to remember navigating this evolving landscape, it really is an ongoing journey. It's not a one and done thing. Organizations like PMI, they're deeply committed to supporting project professionals through this, providing resources for building GenAI skills, fostering career growth, and helping everyone demonstrate resilience in what is, let's face it, a truly dynamic business environment.
And there are specific resources available right now that can help you on this journey, right?
That's right.
You can check out the PMI Artificial Intelligence and Project Management Hub online. It's designed as a comprehensive source for guidance. They also offer a free introductory course. I believe it's called Generative AI Overview for Project Managers. A great starting point.
Definitely.
There's also an online community where you can connect with colleagues, share experiences, ask questions, and curated thought leadership to keep you updated on how AI is impacting project management as things continue to evolve.
Lots of support out there.
Definitely worth checking out. So let's wrap up with a final thought for you to consider. As AI continues its rapid transformation of the project management landscape, what unique human capabilities will you consciously lean into and hone? Recognizing that the most successful projects, well, they'll likely be those where human ingenuity and advanced AI work together in perfect synergy. Something to think about.